Chris Cuomo here. Welcome to NewsNation, where left and right come to be reasonable. So, tonight, we have an exclusive with the father of the American Airlines pilot who died trying to land in Washington, D.C. last night. He was one of the 67 who lost their lives. And we still don't understand why, but we're going to piece clues together tonight. The father is a pilot himself, and he actually flew Black Hawk helicopters. One was involved last night. In fact, he flew the same route that became deadly last night in a Black Hawk helicopter. Now, what are the chances, right? Well, that is a question that his family is struggling with on many levels. So we're going to cover that. And we're also going to cover the confirmation hearings for the three most controversial Trump picks left. And all of these stories share a common trait. Each and all are complicated and compromised because of social media and digital media. Of course, any story about online BS is going to have a Trump angle, but the president is but a symptom of the disease I'm talking about. Now, I don't know why President Trump thinks a plane crash warrants a race-baiting episode, or why he thinks anything is made better by him blaming others for a situation we still don't understand, but that's Trump. And he has yet to offer any proof of anything he says on this issue. But that's what passes for political pablum on social media. And that, not just him, is the real problem. And yes, the left was weaponizing this tragedy as well, blaming Trump for FAA cutbacks, and there were rampant conspiracies and terror allegations, none of it based on anything more, and here's the point. What motivates them is a desire for clicks in the hope of going viral. Nothing will change in our dialogue until we all understand that social media, digital media, now takes everything that warrants national attention and weaponizes it for profit. Notice that what Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard are answering for are not things that they said in their official capacities, not stuff that they said on the record or at a conference or to a reporter or on a cable news show, but for podcast posturing.
You went on Joe Rogan's podcast in May. The bill is now law. And you said, quote, "This bill took an already bad problem and made it many, many times worse."
You familiar with the Stu Peters? Does that name ring a bell?
I'm sorry, what is it?
Are you familiar with Mr. Stu Peters?
Not off the top of my head.
He made 8 separate appearances on his podcast. He promoted outrageous conspiracy theories and worked with a prominent neo-Nazi.
The guy's going to run the FBI and he doesn't remember who he did 8 podcasts with? Come on. The defenses are absurd because he's defending the absurd. They are haunted by their own exaggerated, often baseless social media and podcast claims. Look, they're great for fueling a fringe following, but they look stupid when held to the light of actual scrutiny. So here's Tulsi Gabbard having to explain her statements on Edward Snowden.
You consistently praise the actions of Edward Snowden. These are your quotes. "Brave. Please join my bipartisan legislation calling for charges to be dropped against him." Do you disagree that legislation was not appropriate? Do you believe he is brave or not?
Yeah,
Back those words?
once again, Senator, Edward Snowden broke the law. He
Ms. Gabbard,
also
I'm not
released
talking- we
information
agree that Edward Snowden
that
broke the
exposed
law.
the United
I'm
States
asking you a
government's
question whether
illegal
your
programs.
legislation and your words are still your beliefs. Yes or no, please?
I'm making myself very clear.
No. What Tulsi's being forced to make clear is that there's a difference between what you say when you're going to be held accountable and what you say when you're trying to be popular. Now, you can say, well, that's always been what politics is, but not like this. Not like this. And she did say he was brave and deserved a pardon. And it's not normal political doublespeak because it's different worlds. One where you can say the craziest shite you can, and the other where you have to own it. Same with Kash, who pretended not to know the guy who was on a podcast with 8 times. And then he tried to duck making a song to support the J6 guys who attacked cops and This was his explanation of why he didn't mean what he said when he kept saying that we did this and we did that.
We. If you had nothing to do with it, Mr. Patel, why did you tell Steve Bannon and all his listeners that you did?
That's why it says we, as you highlighted.
Yeah, and you're part of the we, right? When you say we, that includes you, doesn't it, Mr. Patel?
Not in every instance.
Seriously? We doesn't involve I? So when I say we went to the park, I'm not talking about me? I wasn't there? The royal we? Well, I mean, seriously. Again, the defenses are absurd because they're defending the absurd. Bobby Kennedy, too, has done a lot of this online, especially with the anti-vaxxers, and he became a really big deal with them. And he also wrote books, and he's made plenty of offline comments as well. But social media is not the problem itself. Social media, digital media, they're tools. And there are plenty of great platforms and videos and ways to enjoy and learn. But there's a growing wave of poison propaganda for profit, and it's gotten a pass for too long. And while I'm among the first to say I don't want censorship, I don't believe our society can be about that and survive. Ideas, even if offensive, should be allowed in the marketplace if only to be exposed for how stupid they are. But make no mistake, the same people who say they're being censored happen to dominate the social media and digital platforms. They're trying to seek protection to continue doing things that are very questionable value to the majority of this country. Now, I don't know what the solution is, but I know what the problem is. And the counter to my explanation is that, no, it's you. It's the legacy media that's the problem. Show me any outlet that can be sued and has to deal with being exposed that says anything like what passes for perspective in the pod or social media world. And again, I'm not talking about everybody. I have the Chris Cuomo Project for a reason. Robust podcast. And there are strong independent journalists out there and critical thinkers. But there are many who are none of those things. Outlets that have millions of followers and make a ton of money. Bobby can't backpedal away from being anti-COVID vax fast enough. But on social media, you'd think everybody who took the COVID vax should be in a coma right now. Again, I don't know the solution. But the problem is obvious, and I hope it is to you. And we see these nominees paying the price for participating. We've never seen nominees have to answer for the kind of poppycock that these three are. And by the way, some of it's unfair. But it's not just because they're outliers. They're controversial, don't get me wrong. But it's because we have this new environment where people exaggerate for profit. And it is not reality. It's no coincidence that as the digital space has grown, so has grown the divide in this nation. Simply put, we have more trying to divide us than ever. It's making them rich, and it's making the quality of our politics and our republic poor. Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.